Hi, this is Carl, and this is another SMD Community Podcast. I'm joined today by Lori Tisinai, who is from Computer Concepts, and she's running a conference called the IT Owners Compass. Welcome.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about the history of you and Computer Concepts.
Okay, well, it all started about 2 decades ago. And
when you were 12.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s. I was working for a training company, teaching people how to use Microsoft Office and other software at the time. And it was also when Lotus Notes was very big. So if people remember Lotus Notes,
oh, yeah.
I loved teaching Lotus Notes. And so at the time I worked for a training company, and I didn't know if I didn't like what I was doing or didn't like who I was working for. So I decided it was a good time. I was 24 years old, and I decided I would quit and see what I could do or could accomplish going out on my own. And I started doing computer training on my own, and also working with some new clients on a couple of new projects in the pharmaceutical industry. So that's how I kind of got started on my own. And it led to me landing a couple of larger enterprise clients doing corporate computer training on how to use Microsoft Office. So I basically became a white label or an internal training arm for a lot of these different companies. So that's how I got started, was just by doing computer training, how to use the software. And little by little, I started doing a couple little home shows or, chamber events. And then I started getting, more small businesses and residential clients. But I would say probably within the last 10 years, that small business and residential client really doing computer support and technology optimization for companies, that really has taken off within the last 10 years. And I would say within the last 5 years, it's just boomed, where the computer training is going down a little bit because I think people think they know how to use Microsoft Office or how to use technology, so they're not spending the money on the classes.
Right, whether they do actually know it or not.
Yeah. So. I just taught an Excel class this past week, a level 1 at a chain of hospitals around the area. And out of the 12 people in the class, not one person has ever written a formula.
So they use Excel, they just don't use much of it.
Correct.
So that's interesting. I almost wonder what they do with Excel if they don't use formulas.
Well, I think they open it up, and I think a lot of people use it for lists, containing, information about staff or employees or projects that they're working on. Or they told me they're using their calculator and then inputting the numbers then into Excel.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. That's actually humorous. So, okay. So, and so do you work alone?
Well, when I'm out at clients, I'm usually alone, but I have a team of trainers that help me work at the corporations. And it's been the same team of trainers that I've had for probably the last 20 years. So we've been working with each other for a long time, and we used to work with each other at the previous company that is no longer around. So it's been nice that we've been able to stay working within the same industry and are in the same area. So there's not too many contract trainers anymore.
Very cool. And so on the IT side, are you sole proprietor there?
So I have myself, and my brother works with me part-time, and I have a couple of other people in and out that I pull on for different resources. So I'm all contractor based depending on the projects that I'm working on. Right.
Okay. All right. So what is IT Owners Compass or ITO Compass?
IT Owners Compass or ITO Compass is an event that I started putting together last year. And it's a place where the community can get together to learn from other peers and from other industry experts. And sometimes we pull in people from outside of our industry so that we can round out the solutions that we're providing for our clients.
Very cool. So we're going to put a link down below. And I'm proud to be a speaker at the ITO Compass. Who else is going to be there?
Well, first of all, I think you're a little bit more than just a speaker. You are our keynote who will be kicking off the event. And you're also hanging around with us for the whole weekend. Last year we had another keynote, and he was only able to come for his speaking piece. So the fact that you were able to agree to stay for the whole weekend where we could pick your brain and hang out with you and talk with you is awesome.
Well,
and then also on, yeah. And then on Sunday, you're also doing a 2-hour presentation, like a longer workshop to help us really dive into some of the issues that we've been having in our own businesses.
Yes. Now, who else is going to be speaking?
Well, we got a couple people. We actually have a lot of speakers. I didn't count them yet, but we have Rob Ray from Dado. He's going to be coming and giving us a state, like what's going on in the world of MSPs. We also have Matt from ID Agent, and I'm really excited to have them come out. They're going to talk to us about the dark web scans and their new line of business that they have rolling out. So I'll let him announce that at the event. It's already out there, but so he's coming. We have Jennifer Fields coming from a marketing company. I have a woman coming who is a tech attorney. She worked internally as an MS for an MSP, and now she practices creating those service level agreements and creating those contracts to help people when they're trying to gain new clients. I think that's a huge topic that comes up a lot.
So walk us through the agenda a bit. So it's 3 days, which is, that's a big conference.
Yeah, I don't do anything small. I don't know what I was thinking. So it's starting out Thursday night. In case people are flying in early, we've got a welcome reception with some appetizers and cocktails at the hotel. We're going to be hosting this in Chicago. It's going to be at the Virgin Atlantic Hotel. It's really cool on the inside. I don't know if you've been to a Virgin hotel before, but it's very nice.
So I didn't realize it was Virgin Atlantic. So it's one of what's his name's properties.
Richard Branson.
Branson, yeah. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really neat hotel. So I think it's only been open for about 3 years in Chicago, but it's a great location and everything is it's cool. It's just a really cool hotel.
Right.
So we've got that Thursday night, and then Friday morning we'll have breakfast at the hotel, and that's also a time where the vendors and sponsors will be at their tables, and you can go and talk to them about some of their products, or if you have any questions because you're using the product, you'll be able to do that with them there as well. And we also just have, like on the table, we'll have different questions as suggestions. If you wanted to brainstorm and talk with others about topics, you'll be able to do that. So, and then our kickoff, you'll be starting off around 10 a.m. And then we'll have a couple of speakers in the morning and panel discussions. We'll break for about an hour and a half for lunch. And in that lunch time frame, we're giving an hour and a half just so that people can, relax,
right.
Eat lunch, talk to the sponsors, talk to the vendors, talk to their peers. And then we also have like an open table area where, we'll have certain topics. If they want to go and talk about those topics, you can go and sit around with a few of your other peers and talk about those certain topics that we have listed for each day. And then in the afternoon, we have 10 different work sessions planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not everybody attends everything, right? You've got different tracks.
Right. Well, I don't know if there's even different tracks. It's just different topics. Some that I think are more technical, some are more business, some are marketing. So I try to have a mix of each. And each one of them is going to be videotaped. So if you're not able to make it to one, you'll be able to watch it later.
Very cool. So is there an extra charge for that?
There will be a little bit of an extra charge for people that maybe haven't attended the event. Then they'll be able to watch some of the videos if they weren't able to come live.
Right. Very cool. So in all, so you said this is your second year. So how many people were there last year?
We had over 100 people last year.
Okay. And
so it was
you're hoping for the same this year?
I'm on target for the same numbers this year.
Excellent. And are these primarily people who are MSPs or MSP wannabes, or just a variety of people from all over the industry?
I think it's a variety of people from all over the industry. I think a lot of people say that they're an MSP. You can go to their website and they have MSP quality and topics listed. Don't go to my website though. I don't have anything listed. I've been too busy with this to update a website. But it's a mix of people. So a lot of people, there are some that are just one or two business owners, and then, or not business owners, but one or two employees. And then we have several people that have, 5 to 10 employees.
All right, cool. So some of the speakers, I think Jennifer from Aztec is, you mentioned her. So she's going to be talking about marketing. Do you know specifically what her topic is?
I do not have it in front of me, but I know that one of the work group sessions that she's going to be talking about is going to be about marketing 101. What can you do for your business to help you get up and get going? Or if you need more business, what are some extra things that you can do to help you grow your business?
Very cool. I know that the vendor hall, a lot of people, sort of have this negative view, like, oh man, I hate vendors. I don't want them talking blah, blah, blah. But I always find that that's a great way to figure out new products and services. And, I think vendors are great. And I'm not sure why some people don't like vendors, but I just always feel like that's an educational opportunity for me,
I love vendors too. I like learning about products. I may not like sales calls during the day because I'm busy at clients, but if I'm interested in the product, I don't mind learning about it. And even if it's not a good fit for me today, it may be a good fit for me, 6 months or a year down the road. Or I don't see the value in it right now, but oh my gosh, I just worked on a project and gee, I wish I had that product. So the vendor hall here is not a big vendor hall where they have the booths where they're bringing in, all their equipment and big signs. It's a table. It may be a high boy. They may have a pop-up sign. It's really for you to be able to approach them and talk to them and hang out with them.
Right.
I think some of the relationships that I have with the vendors that are coming, or some of the vendors that I work with, is because I see them as a value add to me, because they really know their products and they know if it will work on a particular issue that I have, or if I tell them how I'm using it, they can maybe tell me a better way on how to use that product.
Right. Well, and it loops back to education, right? Because they want to train you on using more features in their product so that you'll get more value out of it. It doesn't cost you any more to use all the features versus 10% of the features. So
very true.
Yeah.
So one of the things this year is that we've really worked with the vendors and our peers that are coming, and when we're choosing our topics that we're talking about, there's no sales in any of the presentations from the vendors. So I know that sometimes people think, oh, I don't want to have to sit through that vendor presentation, so I don't want to, I'm going to go make some phone calls, or I'm going to go, get some popcorn or some cheesecake while we're in Chicago.
Right.
And instead, you really want to stay because they're really talking about things that are affecting you in your business and how you can maybe turn the tides or see a new opportunity coming. So there's no sales in any of the presentations. Well,
I will say Rob Ray normally is the best speaker at any conference he goes to. So it makes me nervous to be back to back with Rob Ray.
Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting Rob. I've met a lot of people that know him and are excited that he's coming to the event. And some people that I had talked to when we were at the conference last week. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
It was last week.
Yeah, it all fades away. I was at the CompTIA.
Yeah,
that was last
community
week.
Event. That was last week. No, I've been playing catch up, but I told one of my friends there that Rob was coming to speak, and she said, "Rob Ray is coming to your event? He's speaking?" And I said, "Yes." So I'm really excited that he's going to be there, and I think other people will be excited too. So a couple of other speakers we have Amy Babinchek. You know Amy well.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Amy a couple years ago at a CompTIA event at ChannelCon. It was in a room of probably 500 people. And she was, I think, pretty much the only female that I saw in my vicinity. And I started talking to her and trying to make a connection in a sea of people. And
right.
So I got her card. And I've always kept it for the third tier in case I needed some additional help. And anyway, I started seeing her name on Facebook. And I thought to myself, I wonder if this is the same person that I met right in the back of the big hall, and it was. So she's actually coming to speak. So I'm really excited about
how many
her.
Babincheks are there in our industry? Just saying, you know.
True.
We were talking in Chicago about names. So your husband has a very normal, you know, common name, and so Tisinai is at least easy to find on the internet because there's just not that many. So
no, only 20. And yeah, last week I signed up. I don't know what I did, but they ended up taking Bill because I said it was my husband, and so they ended up making his name tag with the same last name as mine. So he takes it in stride.
So
he doesn't mind.
He'll probably save that name tag. So
he saves all of his name tags for all the events.
As do I. So I got him hanging on a door. So
that's what he does too.
So you mentioned how few women are in the industry. So I have to say I was very impressed when you said that there were 25% of the attendees last year were women.
Well, it might have been a little less than that, but it was right around that number. I'm not so good with my math, but we did have quite a few women there, and I forgot to take a group picture. So I'm so excited about that. So normally when I go to events, if I'm going to a lunch and learn, or if I'm going to a half-day seminar from a service provider, there's the only female is usually me, or like the hostess of the event, you know, like someone at the restaurant.
I do events all over the world, and I can tell you that having 3% women is the norm in our industry, you know, so we need more.
Yes. And I was really excited last week to go to the CompTIA event and learn more about the Advancing Women in Technology group. And, you know, I really want to become more involved with that group to help, because I'm always about, you know, having interns and getting people involved within the industry, even if they don't think that they're technical, right? That's one of the main things that we talked about. It's not always being a coder. People say to me, well, Lori, I would like to come work for you, but I don't know how to code. I said, well, that's good, because either do I. I mean,
you just show me up. So, well, plus, if there's no coding involved in your job, I mean, I don't think most IT, computer repair people know anything about coding, or very, very little. Maybe a little scripting, but, you know, not even much of that. It's not that relevant anymore, you know. It used to be that people had to really, you know, I'm so old. When I started with the Commodore 64, you had to write your own printer drivers, right? So, and, you know, you would type it out of a magazine or whatever, but, you know, back in the day, nobody does that anymore. It's irrelevant to our jobs. So I think it's much more important to learn about sales and marketing, and how to structure your business, and how to get contracts, and how to get new clients. You know, I think that's a much better skill to focus on, because the computer support piece of it is pretty straightforward these days.
A lot of it can also be very automated with the different tools, and, you know, a lot of the tools that you can buy as a professional to use, you know, you really, one of our peers last year was saying how they have a high school kid or a college kid come in and run through the steps that they have documented. Not that the kid isn't smart, or if someone else is running that, it's not a smart job, but, you know, they're running through the steps because it's an automated process. And then once they get the findings of whatever they've done, then the next level technician kind of takes over that piece of the project.
Right.
So
I
very
think
automated.
as an industry, we are probably more professional than we've ever been. You know, that people do have processes and procedures. They do, you know, try to do the same thing again and again the same way rather than just figuring it out every time. You know, that's in many ways, that's a huge step, because even if you hired somebody today, they had probably worked at a place that had standard operating procedures. That was not the case 10 years ago, right? So it's excuse me, really quite different.
It is. And so hopefully we'll get more women coming to this event. I have, when I see, you know, you and I are in several of the same Facebook groups that, you know, help other IT business owners either on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And whenever I see a woman's name pop up, I definitely go and chat with them and, you know, send them a message saying, you know, I'm not sure if you're interested, but, you know, we have a scholarship, thank you to you, Carl, for first-time women attendees attending the event. They get a $100 scholarship towards the ticket. So the ticket for the event is $299, and that is that's covering the food, basically the food costs for the weekend, and access to everybody. And so women can come for $199, which I think is a great rate for a conference for, again, 2.5 days. It's a long process.
Yes. Well, with luck, you'll either get so many vendors that you'll be able to keep the price the same, or you'll have the guts to raise the price next year. Because, you know, these things have value, and, you know, people have to see that. For most people, you know, the biggest cost is going to be airfare and hotel, not, you know, the cost of the ticket to get into the show. So.
But I think what makes this show so special is that it is a smaller event. You know, it's not like you're going to an event with 500 people or 300 people. It's a smaller event. So if you are coming by yourself, if you've never been to a conference before, that's okay. You'll have, you know, people that you've seen their names or you've seen their faces, maybe in some of the different social groups that you've been involved with on Facebook or LinkedIn or one of the other social media platforms. But you'll be able to make a friend, and since breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included, you're not going to have to find a friend to go and sit down with at lunch, or, you know, find someone to go sit down with and have dinner with or go out with. It's a great community, and it's a very welcoming community.
Right. So do you have a sense of how many returning attendees you have?
That's a great question. I haven't counted everybody that's returning. I haven't gotten that far yet. I've really just been out there, you know, just saying, come on back this year, and, you know, and hopefully getting a few new people, you know, just branching out and just getting more involvement from everybody.
And what's the website, so we can put a link down below?
Oh, the website is itocompass.com.
itocompass.com. All right, so we will definitely put that link below. And with the vendors, I know that you've got people still signing up, but do you have a sense of how many vendors you're going to have there?
Well, I have a mix of vendors and speakers. I think we definitely have about 10 to 15 vendors coming. So it's we just signed on somebody new today, Procure IT, and so they're a company that helps you outsource your different vendors so that you can spend more time on sales and billing, which is always very important. And so I'm very excited that they'll be joining us. We also have Passport.
I was just going to say that I was at Robin Robbins boot camp last week. Right before I went to, or the week before, I guess, because it was before I went to Chicago. And your conference was being talked about among the vendors. So, you know, I think that's a good sign, right? That they want to be there, and because they want to meet new folks in the industry who, you know, obviously for them, you know, they're looking for new people that they haven't talked to because the folks haven't been to Robin Robbins or Tech Fest or wherever else.
Right. So yeah, I've been I've been busy calling people and making Facebook posts, but I think we're bringing in a great group of vendors that can, bring value to your business, especially if it's a service that you're not using now. So I'm bringing in several people that I've used in the past, and that I'm using now. So I'm excited that they're able to come.
And you've been to other events. So tell me what makes your event different and maybe better than some of the other events that are out there.
Well, I don't know if it's any better. It's just different. The fact that it is over a 2.5-day time period or a 2-day time period, you can come in, you're not feeling rushed because you have to run off and go back. You're in and out for just a day. You have time to actually develop some relationships with your peers and with the vendors. And there's a lot of collaboration. So we're going to be breaking apart into groups in the afternoon. We have 5 scheduled each breakout for 45 minutes. And it's going to be led by a peer or by, a subject matter expert. And then after they present their material, there'll be time to collaborate with other people, to get the feedback like, okay, so this is some 5 things, right, that you should maybe include within your service contract. Right. What are some things that you are finding that you've needed to include within your service contract? So opening it up and making it more of a dialogue back and forth. So I think we're going to be doing a lot of that in the afternoon. And then we'll also have the panel discussions as well. But those will be shorter. And you'll have, again, that interaction at lunch, the interaction in the morning at breakfast. And again, in the evening when we're going to the dinners and to the entertainment.
Well, I always think it's good because so many of us know each other online, but haven't met in the real world. So it's a great opportunity for folks to, actually meet some of the people that they've been joking around with and sharing ideas with online, because it's always been the case that there's an online community and then there's the real world. And, it takes some getting to get some IT people out of their cocoon and into the real world sometimes. Yes.
And I think for me, I'm pretty social. And I'm really social. I'll admit that. And but I've also been on the other end of things where I've been new to a situation or new to a group, and I'm not included, or I don't know anybody, so I don't feel comfortable just kind of, imposing and saying, well, hey, can I go to dinner with you? I've learned how to do that over the years, so I'm not scared to do that now. But I can look around the room around dinner time, and if someone's sitting by themselves and I know they're at an event that I've been at, oh my gosh, for sure, please come with. I never want anyone to ever feel left out. Right. I like to be very inclusive, and I want everybody to be happy, and I want everybody to learn something, and and everyone to have fun.
Cool. So I look forward to having fun. That's in Chicago, and it's April 26th, 27th, 28th?
Correct. And the 28th is just a half day.
Okay.
So, we're going to do a little something in the morning and then get into a couple of hours with you, and then have, a wrap up for about 30 minutes. So we'll be done by noon. So if you need to catch a plane back home or drive back home, you can. And if you can stay and have a Sunday fun day in Chicago, we can do that too.
And both O'Hare and Midway are about the same distance, more or less, to the hotel.
Yeah,
so
to the hotel,
wherever you want to go to is totally fine.
Yep, totally fine. And if you even wanted to fly into Milwaukee, you can always take the train down from Milwaukee to Chicago as well, if that happens to be a better airport for you, or there's a more direct flight there. But between Chicago and Midway, there's hundreds of flights a day that I'm sure you could get on.
Very cool. So folks should go to itocompass.com, block out April 26th, 27th, 28th, be in Chicago, and see you, see me, see all the good folks, and plan on having a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be really good this year. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today, and with luck, since you're also a new community leader in the Small Biz Thoughts community, maybe we'll have you back and talk about some of the entrepreneur side of you and your husband.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks, Carl. Bye.